We'll call the Livingston County January meeting to order. If Pastor Victor Randall is here and will come up and lead us in prayer, we'd appreciate it.
I can do that. Hope everybody had a good holiday, good New Year's. And just real quick, I was taking a couple from Pakistan back to Roosevelt the other day, and coming back down 55, and I saw a sign that said, "Illinois is broken." And I don't know if I just didn't notice that before, but man, it just kind of sunk in. It didn't set well with me. And but the preamble for the 1818 Illinois Constitution, I want to start with this. It says, "We, the people of the state of Illinois, grateful to Almighty God for the civil and political and religious liberty that He has permitted us to enjoy, and seeking His blessings upon our endeavors in order to provide for health, safety, and the welfare of people." Let's pray. God, we are still grateful to You for this great land of Illinois and its people. We need Your Spirit to guide us into our future. May Your wisdom and knowledge be poured out upon this Livingston County Board tonight, and on all of those who hold authority over us throughout Illinois. May their hearts and their minds call out to You for direction as they navigate our state. Lord, Your word tells us, trust in You with all of our hearts, and do not lean to our own understanding. And in all of our ways we must submit to You, and You will make straight our paths. So please straighten out our paths and touch our land. We acknowledge how much we need You, and we cannot do this on our own. God, thank You for every individual and every family that calls Livingston County their home. And may we live our lives in such a way that will bring glory and honor to Your name. And may we all help Illinois to be a wonderful place to build lives and to raise families. I declare that Illinois is not broken, for I am Illinois. We are Illinois. And God, Your mighty hand has touched us all. You've healed us all. And so, Lord, may Your mighty hand rest upon Illinois. Heal any of her wounds and make her whole again through Your Spirit and by Your people, us. Amen.
Amen.
God bless You.
Thank you, Pastor Randall.
Absolutely.
Now, if you'd all stand, please, and Gerald Earring will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, could we have roll call, please, Christy?
Yes. Arbogast.
Here.
Weller. Here. Ambrose.
Here.
Carly.
Present.
Lovell. Here. Vidstum.
Here.
Mays.
Here.
Ehring.
Here.
Runyon.
Here.
Blackard.
Here.
Wilkie. Here. Killian.
Here.
Bunning.
Present.
Slagle.
Here.
Vietti. Here. Steichen.
Here.
Schaefer. Here. Ingalls. Kestner. Ritter.
Present.
Gerwin. Young.
Here.
Allen. Okay.
Okay, the agenda is before you. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda? Carly? Who was the second? Wilkie? Any discussion on that? All those in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay. Now, I consider this a privilege. All of you know that Mr. Yoder resigned his board position few weeks ago, and Kathy and I interviewed a couple different people, and I think we really feel really upbeat about who we got to sit on this board, and that individual is Mike Kirkton, and Mike is in the back row there, and I'd ask him to please come forward to be sworn in by Christy Bounty. Christy
That's a name
Mashing.
from the past.
What was that, Alina? You need to vote first. Oh, okay. We need a vote to approve him?
Yep.
Okay, I need a motion to approve him. Kathy Arbogast, I need a second. Ritter? Okay, any discussion on that? Do we have to roll call that? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Weller. Ambrose.
Yes.
Carly. Yes. Lovell.
Yes.
Pittston.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Herring.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yes.
Wilkie.
Yes.
Killian.
Yes.
Funning.
Yes.
Flagel.
Yes.
Vieti.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer.
You bet.
Ingalls. Kestner. Ritter.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Allen.
Now please step forward, Mr. Kirkton. And Mrs. Mashing.
If you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Mike Kirkton,
I, Michael Kirkton,
having been appointed to fill
having been appointed to fill
an unexpired vacancy
an unexpired vacancy
in the office
in the office
of District 3 County Board Member
of District 3 County Board Member
on January 17th, 2019,
on January 17th, 2019,
in and for the County of Livingston
in and for the County of Livingston
and State of Illinois,
and the State of Illinois,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Illinois,
of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of County Board Member
of County Board Member
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Mr. Kirkton, I would like to call upon you if you have any comments you'd like to make.
I'll be very brief. Thank you, Mr. Young, and I want to thank Kathy Arbogast as well. When I met you guys on Monday, it was just a fantastic meeting, and you know, I tell people I've served my country for close to 30 years, so I really look forward to this opportunity to serve my community, and I just want to tell you thank you for supporting me, and I want to say thanks to Doc Watson back there as well, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Is your wife present?
Yes, sir.
Would you like to get a picture with her up there or not? No?
How about with that, Roger? How about with
I
that,
think
Roger?
you're gonna be in a little trouble tonight, Mr. Kirkton. Yeah, bring them
How about
all.
Roger? Come on, Roger. Roger, too.
They've got one of my dad.
I wasn't at the meeting, so. Yeah, you were there. No, I meant the minutes. Somebody that's at the meeting should have approved the minutes. Gee, you still got cookies.
Roger? Mr. Kirkton? How long did you serve on the county board?
25 years.
25 years. And so, Mike told me he was going after that record of yours. Okay? Mr. Ritter, you want to go bring Mr. Kirkton up there to that seat by you?
What did he say?
Okay, you do have the minutes. I'd like to have a motion to approve the minute.
I'll make a motion.
Who did? Hearing? And a second? Blackard? Any discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor of approving the minute, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you. Now, we're at the highlight of the meeting. We've got Randy Wittenberg here to talk about emergency services. So, Mr. Wittenberg, and let's not have the long version.
Normally, this is a 45-minute presentation,
That's what I'm saying.
but I'm going to try to cut this down to probably 25 or 30 minutes for you guys. Everybody should have a packet. I'll just hit some of the highlights that we do. I think probably the thing that I'm probably most proud of is that we are going to have an ending fund balance this year of about $500,000. And because of that, we are able to fund a couple things. We're able to fund a equipment replacement plan, which we've been working on. We now have in place a 5-year equipment replacement plan, so that we no longer will have to come to anybody and ask for additional funds. We have also put into place I apologize, I'm looking for an operating reserve fund in case we have an emergency of some type or a major catastrophe, that we can continue to operate if we had to change facilities or of any kind, so that we have done that as well. So what you will see over the next few years is the excess will start to come down as those funds raise. So we will not have excess fund. We will not have $500,000 probably at the end of next year. But as that goes down, the funds will raise. A couple things that we're going to do this year. We did buy the dispatch furniture that certainly sits in there. The desks are the original dispatch desks. Those are being replaced. They are a unique commodity. They're kind of a home in themselves. The dispatchers sit there for 12 hours a day. So these desks actually, they raise up and down. They actually have a cooling system and a heating system in each one, and then support the 7 monitors that they have to sit there and look at. So we bought new dispatch furniture. We bought some new chairs. We've got an EMS project going on with OSF to try to lower ambulance times and response times to our citizens. Probably the thing that I'm most proud of is that we've added NIXL to our program. NIXL is a early warning system. If you haven't got on it, you can text VCOM, VCOM, to 888-777, and you'll get signed up anytime there's a weather warning, road closure, anything in the community. You will get a text and get notified early. Excuse me? 888-3837. If you text VCOM to that, you can get signed up, and I encourage everybody to. We've got over 1,000 people now signed up for it in the last month, and it's working really, really well. We're working with the sheriff on the school camera initiative. The cameras all come into the 911 center, and we have them up on the wall so that if we had an emergency at the schools, we can direct traffic from the 911 center as well. Couple things that we have going on. We're a technology-driven business, and the thing that we're most concerned, there's 2 things that we're really concerned about right now. One is the state has a 911, next-gen 911 program that they're working on. That has not been defined yet, but I'm sure you'll all understand it. It is an unfunded mandate. So at some point, we're going to have to comply. We feel like we're in pretty good shape with the improvements we've made over the past few years. And probably the one thing we know we're probably going to have to do is text to 911, and that's probably something we'll look at doing in 2020. The reason we haven't done it before now is that the state had been floating out there that they were going to provide that for us on a statewide program, and this last fall they told us no, they were not going to do that. So we're going to have to do that. Other than that, if you have any questions of anything, if you notice there, your fees are going down. We had a Chatsworth, so you're going to get a credit for that, and the city of Forest is going to pay fees into the system. So, sure.
Randy, did you say we need to text ECOM?
VCOM.
VCOM. VCOM.
Yes, sir.
Text VCOM to the
Yep.
888-777.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else?
Randy, did
Yes,
you
sir.
recently, maybe like last night or the night before, have a meeting with some of the rural fire
did.
department?
I did.
How did that go?
It went really well. One of the things that we've been working on with the rural fire departments, as you know, a few years ago, we went to the statewide radio system, STARCOM, with the police agencies, and we've been trying to look at, how to best serve the fire community. One of the problems we have is the UHF system we have currently for the fire community is starting to die, and it's going to cost us several $100,000 to replace that or fix it. So STARCOM became the best option to do so. So we started having conversations with them. The meeting 2 nights ago actually was to discuss grant opportunities. We should be able, or we're going to work with them to get a FEMA grant. We've gotten a FEMA grant before for the city of Pontiac and the Dwight Fire Department, and it worked out really well. So it's a 90%, 10% participation grant. So we feel like we can probably help them with that. And we're working with Motorola. Motorola will actually be coming to a meeting on the 29th of this month to explain the technology behind it and what technology they need to do. 2 concerns I have with that is number one, the current radio system does all of our paging. I'm not satisfied that Motorola has a solution for our paging yet, so we're going to make sure that before we do anything that's taken care of. And then the tornado alarms, or the alarms that are in all the communities, those are also run off of our system. So we have to make sure that we can continue to trip those alarms from our center. So,
I have a question.
Sure.
What does this cover, the 888-777?
It covers Livingston County and the city of Streeter.
Okay, thank you. Does everybody else out there have that 888-777? Because that's going to be a really nice feature, I think, for everybody.
It's a great feature. And we've, McLean County's had it for a while, works really well with them. So we were able to kind of watch how they worked it. We tested it for about 6 months, a few of us, and it works really well.
Randy, are any of your board members here tonight?
I have 2 board members here tonight. Our chairman, Jim Wolford, who's the chief of police of the city of Pontiac, and former county board member William Flott, who is also on our finance committee.
Thank you.
So, anything else? Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thanks, Randy.
Okay. Consent agenda then. Approval of the bills. Do I have a motion to approve the bills?
So moved.
Bunning, is there a second? Oh, Mays. He gets mad if I don't call him. So, any discussion on that?
Negative.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Weller.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Carly. Yes. Lovell.
Yes.
Fitzdum. Mays. Yes. Aaron.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yes.
Wilkie.
Yes.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Killian.
Yes.
Bunning.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Vietti.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Kestner. Ritter.
Yes.
Kerwin. Young.
Yes.
Allen.
Mr. Schaefer, it looks like it's your time.
Thank you, sir. First order of business, the Christie, the county clerk's semi-annual report. Any remarks on your part?
It's pretty self-explanatory, and it's for the last 6 months of the year. I've provided you with a summary sheet that compares a comparison of what we took in compared to 12 months ago for the 2017, as well as this last 6 months to the prior 6 months of the year. We took in, for our daily cash account, we took in $273,881.38, and that was dispersed with $244,203.80 going to the general fund, as well as subsidiary funds that we have within the county that we can collect the fees for. About 30,000 of it ended up going to the state for fees that we have to collect for them. The documents that we've recorded on our recording side, which include land records, meetings, our mortgages, deeds, trusts, tax liens, federal and state tax liens, and information such as that. We did 5,216 documents, which is up 243 documents more than 2017. But it's kind of a comparison. In 2005, we had 8,059 recordings. So it is slowly, the trend has gone down for how land is moving and housing and different things like that too, and what's being recorded. So we had 110 marriage licenses we issued in the last 6 months, and 73 the first 6 months. I guess if you have any other questions for me for that? If you want to learn more about some of this stuff and go into more detail, you can stop by our office and talk to me. We'll be glad to explain it to you and show you how everything works, so.
Thank you, Christie.
Mr. Chairman, I'd motion the report be approved.
Mr. Schaefer made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Slagle. Any discussion on it? Okay, we'll voice vote that, please. Roll call.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Weller.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Fitstum.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Blackard. Yes. Wilkie.
Yes.
Kirkton. Yes. Killian.
Yes.
Bunning.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Vietti.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes, ma'am.
Kestner. Ritter.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
And Allen.
Okay, thank you. Second item is we have to borrow internally some funds to our bill for the county's insurances are due. We're a few weeks out yet from collecting some taxes, so to take care of that bill in a timely fashion, we need to loan ourselves some money. So I would motion that that resolution be approved.
Okay, Bunning had a second on that, I think. Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Weller.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Fitstum. Mays.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Blackard. Wilkie.
Yes.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Killian.
Yes.
Bunning.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Vietti.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Kestner. Ritter.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
And Allen.
Okay, that's it, sir.
Okay, thank you. Going to Ag and Zoning Committee, Mr. Bunning, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you guys see, I have no action items to bring forth to you tonight, but I do have a few informational items. At last count, roughly 175 people joined the Deffenbaus on January 8, 2019 for their open house for their pig barn. Last I heard, they've got another few more days of construction. The president of the Illinois Pork Producers has has extended an invitation out to any county board members that would like to visit that before it fills up with hogs. You're more than welcome to either contact me, and I'll put you in direct line with the representative there to get a chance to look at it. The 8 solar farms that we have approved through the county here, as many of you well know, go into a lottery system. They have pushed that lottery back a couple weeks, so as soon as Chuck and I get more information on that, we will be sure to pass it along. And then we tentatively have 2 electronic recycling dates set up here in the county, one in April and one in September, and we'll have more information as it comes apparent. So that's all I have, Mr. Chairman, if there's no questions.
Okay, thank you. Highway Committee, Mr. Lovell.
Mr. Chairman, we have no action items in the Highway Committee. Informational items. Basically, last weekend, they ran 8 trucks in the snow and worked Saturday and Sunday, and minimal complaints, so
Good.
they done a good job.
Okay.
Thank
That
you.
it? Sheriff Jail License Committee, Mrs. Arbogast, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No action items. However, the sheriff did come. He had an officer, 11-year veteran, resign and went to another job. And he had another deputy that has been deployed and possibly up to a year. He was asking to have his deputy that resigned to be replaced. The 2 resource officers, they're in process right now of being replaced, but we just need this deputy that had resigned to be replaced, although there was no, we could not take action on it, but it was unanimously by the committee to be sent to finance for approval on that, and it was passed in finance, so that's all I have.
Thank you. Election Rules and Legislation Committee, Mr. Carley, Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, we have no action items. We have 1 information item. We had a meeting tonight prior to the board meeting, and with the retirement of Barb Sear as the county treasurer, Nikki Meyer is now the county treasurer, and we had to okay her name being placed on the credit card for that office, so that was done. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you. In public property, in Mr. Ingalls' absence, I think Mr. Killian, you're vice chair, are you not?
Yes, I am. I think Mr. Weller ran that meeting a week ago. So I passed that to him.
Mr. Chairman, there was really nothing that we did or took any action on, so report is finished. No report.
Okay, thank you. Personnel Committee, Mr. Vietti, Chair.
We did not meet, Chairman.
Veterans Assistance Committee, Mr. Kestner, Chair.
The committee met and approved bills as presented. That's my report.
Information and Technology Committee, Mrs. Allen, Chair.
We had our meeting, and John reported that the Guard One system at the jail has been updated to the newest version. This system is used to track each time the guard checks on the inmates. And he purchased a software for the cybersecurity training, which will be conducted later this year. He and Kathy both completed the CGIS testing and passed. He also reported that there's a total of 269 computers, not including public health, and one of those computers is still on Windows XP. It runs the public safety complex HVAC system and can't be updated. He also indicated that there are 8 physical servers and 9 virtual servers. And that ends my report.
Well, thank you. We did have a person that's on the Mid-Central Community Action Committee, and that's Mr. Wilkie, and I believe he attended a meeting the other night. Mr. Wilkie?
I attended my first meeting last night, and I will be trying to get more information to the people of Livingston County, because I think that there's several programs that could help the residents of Livingston County, so I'll keep you informed, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Since our last meeting just a week ago, I think I have nothing new to present to the board or to the public tonight. With that, we'll go to Livingston County Housing Authority. You have anything, Mr. Slagle?
We met today. We mostly discussed what happens with the federal government stays shut down too long because their funds do come from the federal government. They have about 4 to 6 months reserve easily and could stretch it to 10 months if needed. And we're meeting again on March 19th. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Okay, well, thank you. Alina, do you have anything you'd like to say about those breakout meetings or anything coming up? Have you got all your sheets back? And
I just have 1 or 2 board members out, and then I need to talk with Mr. Kirkton about that, but otherwise I have received them from everyone. I know everyone's been asking me about the breakout sessions. I'm still waiting on a couple of department heads, and then I'll have to do the coordination and making sure that the schedules work out. I hope to get those out at the beginning of next week. That way you know specifically when I'm scheduling you for, as far as Tuesday and Wednesday. But I'll get in touch with you as soon as possible to let you know.
okay, and I do think that is those meetings are highly important, so I really urge you to please try to attend everything you can and more. With that, we're to the point where we have public comment. So would anyone from the public like to speak at this time?
Chairman Young,
Well, okay, Christie.
I would like to remind the board members that I've placed the Statement of Economic Interest forms on your desk. Many of you have turned them in already, but make sure you fill something in on each one of the items, as well as date and sign it on the back for us. And then we'll file stamp them, and then I'll bring your receipts back next month. Also, on your desk, I put an updated copy of the terms for the board members, updated with this last election. So if you have questions, come and see me.
Good job. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Patterson, were you heading up here?
Hi, I'm Rod Patterson from Pontiac, and I just want to talk a little bit about the end of the community health program. I've been out of the loop for quite a while since Thanksgiving. My wife and I have been out of the country and out of the town for a long time, so I wasn't here for all the discussions since the election. So I'm trying to get up to speed, but I just have a few things I want to point out. There's been a lot of misconceptions and untruths out there about the program, and I want to set some of those straight. The community health care program was established over 10 years ago, which most of you know, and it was funded through interest that was accrued from the construction fund. The program was not set up as home health. Melinda talked about that at the meeting last week, about the difference between home health and the community health program. Home health, just quick way to think about it, home health is for an acute illness, like after surgery or something in the hospital. The community health program was for more long-term issues that people had at home. The criteria for entering the program is exactly the same as the criteria you need to be admitted to a nursing home. The same assessment tool is used by trained social workers to decide if someone needs nursing home services, and if they need nursing home services, they're also eligible for the home health program. The program was never set up only for seniors. There's nothing in the criteria for nursing home admission that requires an age requirement. It's all based on your medical needs and other needs that you have. So it was never intended to be a program just for seniors. Even though a lot of us kind of refer to it as a senior program, it really was not. It was for anybody that met criteria to be in the nursing home. The applicant had to be a resident of the county, and they could not be eligible for any other program. This is the last-ditch effort for people that fall through the cracks, that have no other means of getting the support. The application process for federal and state disability services can last for months. Just the other day in the Leader, there was an article about applying for Medicare disability. It takes at least 4 months before you even hear about your application, and then if you appeal it, it can last for months. Many people in Melinda's program received the services through the county until they were eligible to get disability from Medicare or from the state of Illinois, and at that time they left the county program and went to the other program. There are 2 components in the program, and I know you've heard this before, but the one is the public health nursing and the home services, such as housekeeping, food preparation, bathing, nail care, wound care, and all of the kind of things that people need when they're at home. The unique aspect of this program was that the services were provided by certified nursing assistants, and it was provided according to what was in the person's care plan at the direction of a licensed nurse and supervised by a licensed nurse. So if someone had needed wound care, the nurse could instruct the CNA to review that when they're in the home and report back to the nurse. There's nobody that I contacted through the housekeeping services that you can find online that has staff trained to do wound care and do bathing and nail care and everything else that goes along with that. Yet these are things that people really needed and things that kept them at home instead of going into the nursing home. That works. People were continually assessed by the CNAs to decide if they were still safe to be home, if they still needed the services, and as soon as they thought someone was no longer safe or they needed a higher level of service, they were referred to the appropriate programs. I could talk about this program for a long time. I feel like I've talked about it for a long time, but I'm just going to point out one thing. When people were in this program, they were still living at home. If they had a mortgage, they were paying their mortgage. If they were renting an apartment, they were still renting their apartment. They were still buying their medications at the local pharmacies. They were shopping, getting their groceries from the local grocery stores. They were still an active member of the community. They were still paying their taxes. They were just like every other citizen. If they go to a nursing home, that all stops and that money goes somewhere else. The program was funded through the interest accrued on the construction fund that was earmarked, I believe, for building a new nursing home. When they decided not to build the nursing home, this program was established and they used the accrued interest to pay for the program. From 2008 until 2018, $2,584,668 accrued in interest from that building fund. In that same time period, the community health program cost $2,320,104. That's approximately $265,000 less than the accrued interest that was available. Melinda is working very diligently to find ways to keep the nursing program going, and she's lowered her cost estimates for the program on what she would still need to keep the home services going. I think with that $265,000, it could probably fund the program for another 2.5 years, if you so decide. There's many major changes coming in the state of Illinois and in the federal government. Lots of changes to Medicare and Medicaid. Many of the services that were part of the home services program in the county may eventually be part of these Medicaid and Medicare programs, especially if managed care gets fully in place here in Illinois. So I'm looking at if this is a stopgap measure to keep these services going until someone else takes over and maybe it becomes part of Medicare and Medicaid, which there's a good chance that it will. I'm just simply asking you all to have a discussion about this program, look at the money, and try to follow what the citizens you represent have asked you to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person?
Good evening. I'm Ed Lipinski from Pontiac. And I'm also going to speak about this community program. To me, this issue has always been a budget issue, not a tax increase issue. When it was first announced that the community health care program was to be the only program to be eliminated, citizens came to the board and asked the board to reconsider. The board refused to engage the public, forcing citizens to prepare their own referendum instead of simply allowing the non-binding advisory ballot initiative to simply live or die on its own merit. The board responded in knee-jerk fashion to write their own tax referendum, believing that citizens of Livingston County would vote it down. Because of this rash decision to prepare a second referendum, no thought was given to any contingency plan or whether this was even a legal procedure. Consequently, the board was forced to write 2 more confusing referenda to correct their own mistake. We urged board members to vote against this last week because we believe that this is a budget issue, not a tax issue. You voted to not put the referenda on the ballot without even considering the consequences of going against an overwhelming percentage of the population. 9,900 people voted for the advisory referendum, and 64% of those voting voted to increase their own taxes, a percentage that would have been higher if not for the fact that we actually encouraged people to vote against the tax increase because, again, we believe that this is a budget issue and not a tax increase issue. At this point, I'd like to express my dismay and disappointment at remarks made by some board members. I'm not going to lump all of you into a group, but some members have made the situation worse by resorting to condescension, insults, and name-calling of citizens simply because they didn't agree with the outcome of the vote. First, we heard that people were too stupid to know what they were voting for. Pretty insulting. Then it was a small group of Democrats. I don't know if you understand the demographics of Livingston County, but if there were actually 9,900 Democrats in this county, none of you would be sitting here right now. Then, finally, we were called socialists. Well, if caring for my fellow human beings makes me a socialist, I'll proudly wear that badge. No problem there. The way I see government working is that citizens pay taxes, and then the government body, city, state, municipal, federal, whatever, with public input decides how to spend that money to best serve the needs of all the residents. That doesn't mean that everybody gets the same thing, and it's not all fair. If, for instance, I don't use sheriff's department, police security, but I'm glad it's there. I may not use a new bridge in Sunbury Township, but somebody's using it. And I hope I never need to have any home health care to keep me in my home. But somebody does, and I'm glad it's there, or has been there anyway. This notion that a budget is some type of absolute inflexible document is kind of amusing to me. Every budget, household or business, has some flexibility and room to maneuver. It is by definition, the budget is by definition an estimate. You have the power to help people, whether by maintaining roads, providing police security, or this minimal health service. Finally, I think this is a good time, and I think you're going to be doing some reviewing and thinking about the future. I think it's a good time for the county board to step back and reassess its position and look to the future. Perhaps this isn't the place where economic development is going to grow in a traditional sense. Maybe you have to look at something new. It might be a time to look for quality of life issues, including broadband access for all, transportation, rural transportation across the county so people can get from one place to another, senior services, and recreation. So I'm going to leave you with a couple quotes. The first is from Roger Brooks, who is a consultant being used by the city of Pontiac right now. It is not enough to promote transportation infrastructure or say your community is friendly or has something for everyone. Everyone has that. For the first time in U.S. history, quality of life is leading economic development. The second quote comes from Mike Viking, a Danish philosopher and a happiness expert. We are not paying taxes. We are investing in our society. We are purchasing quality of life. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person?
I've got something, Mr. Chairman. I forgot to mention it in ag and zoning, but I'm going to take my county board member hat off and put my Livingston County Farm Bureau hat on. I want everybody, my fellow county board members, to put March 4th in their calendar. That is going to be Livingston County Farm Bureau's legislative breakfast. As many of you that have been there before, we have Chairman Young, and we have both all of our House of Representative members from the state of Illinois come, our state senators, and hopefully we can get Patrick Doggett from the Congressman's office. So please put March 4th at 7:30 a.m. at the Elks on your calendar. You will be receiving a letter, an invitation. It is an invitation-only event, but wanted to get it on your guys' radar. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Any other comments from, yes, Mr. Killian?
Yes. Last evening, I had the pleasure to be at the GLE DEC meeting, and fellow board member Mr. Bunting, Jason's his first name, was elected to the board of directors there, and I was elected to represent our county. Jason and I both will be representing our county with the Adam Donce and his group, and it was very enlightening about what has happened in the county over the last year, the jobs. I think it's roughly 1,400 jobs that have been introduced through Caterpillar and Anthony Liftgate with their building and expansion, Seelig and Forest, and there's numerous other businesses that have acquired money for bettering Livingston County employment. They're still looking for qualified people in a lot of these businesses. So it was very enlightening on what that group does, and I'd like to report, and Jason will too, I'm sure, over time, what they do with their money. People wonder why they have this money to promote what they do with their money, and the money that they use with this board is to further Livingston County in development. So it does keep our taxes down. Now, there's a few abatement taxes through the schools and situations, but the good that they do to develop Livingston County, and not just Pontiac, it's all of Livingston County, is quite remarkable when you see the figures and people talk about what they have done to help further the betterment of Livingston County. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pat. Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Weller? And who's that, Mr. Lovell? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you to everybody, and we'll see you at the